Have you ever seen footage of a courtroom in Britain, Australia, or India and done a double take? There, in one of the most serious rooms in the entire legal system, a place where lives and liberties are decided, the most senior people in the room are wearing white curly wigs. Like they just stepped out of the 18th century. Like nobody told them what year it is. It looks absurd. It looks theatrical. And in an age where every other profession has modernized its appearance, the legal world is still clinging to a hairpiece that went out of fashion roughly 250 years ago. So why? Is it pure stubbornness? Is it tradition for tradition's sake? Or is there actually a deeper reason that the legal world has refused to let this one go? Welcome to History Behind Simple Things. Today we are uncovering the surprisingly fascinating reason why judges and lawyers still wear wigs in court. To understand the wig, we have to go back to 17th century Europe. In the 1600s, wigs were not a legal thing. They were a fashion thing. And the person most responsible for making them fashionable was King Louis XIV of France, one of the most powerful and vain monarchs in European history. Louis began losing his hair in his 20s and refused to be seen as anything less than magnificent. So he hired a team of wig makers, commissioned an enormous powdered wig, and wore it everywhere. Within years, every aristocrat, nobleman, and person of status across Europe was wearing a wig. Not because they needed to, because the king did. Wigs became the single most visible symbol of wealth, power, and social standing. The bigger and more elaborate the wig, the more important the person wearing it. Lawyers and judges, who were among the most educated and high-status members of society, adopted wigs enthusiastically. By the late 1600s, appearing in court without a wig would have been like appearing in court today without a suit. Unthinkable. But here's where the story gets interesting. By the late 1700s, wigs had fallen completely out of fashion everywhere else. The French Revolution happened. Aristocratic excess became dangerous. Ordinary people rejected the powdered wig as a symbol of the elite class that had oppressed them. Across Europe and America, men stopped wearing wigs almost overnight. Doctors stopped. Politicians stopped. Businessmen stopped. Even the British royal family quietly moved on. But lawyers and judges did not. And the reason they kept the wig while everyone else abandoned it comes down to something the legal profession understood very deliberately. The wig was no longer about fashion. It had become about something far more useful. Identity. Think about what a courtroom is. It is a place of enormous power and enormous vulnerability at the same time. A judge must make decisions that destroy or save people's lives. A barrister must argue cases with total authority in front of strangers. The wig, by this point, had become a uniform. And like all uniforms, it did something powerful. It separated the person from the role. When a judge puts on the wig, they are no longer simply a person with opinions and personal feelings. They are the court. The wig signals to everyone in the room, the accused, the jury, the public gallery, that what happens here operates under a different set of rules than ordinary life. It creates psychological distance between the individual human being and the institution they represent. That distance is not accidental. It is the entire point. There is also an equality argument that the legal profession has always made. Under the wig, every barrister looks the same. The young lawyer fresh out of university and the 50-year veteran with gray hair both wear the same white curls. The wig flattens individual identity and emphasizes the role rather than the person playing it. Justice, the argument goes, should be blind, and a uniform that obscures individual appearance is a physical expression of that principle. Several countries have quietly dropped the wig over the decades. Many Australian courts abolished it in the 1980s. Some Caribbean nations followed. In England and Wales, wigs were removed from civil and family courts in 2008. But criminal courts kept them. And in many countries across the Commonwealth, the full ceremonial wig remains untouched. Because every time the debate comes up, the legal profession makes the same argument. The strangeness is the point. The ceremony is the point. Walking into a room where people wear 18th century wigs tells you immediately that you have entered a space that operates outside ordinary life, where the stakes are different, where the rules are absolute. So the next time you see a judge in a white curly wig and think it looks ridiculous, consider this. That wig has survived every fashion trend, every revolution, and 2.5 centuries of modernization. Not because nobody noticed it was old, but because the people who wear it decided the old was worth keeping. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden history behind this simple thing, hit that like button. Share this with your close friends. And subscribe to History Behind Simple Things and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. And I'll see you in the next one.